Welcome back to 843 TV, where communities come to speak. I'm Carrie Smoot.
And I'm Michael Burgess.
And today we have our second guest, Miss Charlie Clark. She is the Vice President of Communications at the Hilton Head-Bluffton Chamber of Commerce. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming to be with us. So we have all kinds of stuff going on, and the Chamber has received quite an honor recently. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
It's a busy place. We are one of 3 finalists for the National Chamber of the Year Award, which is sort of the Olympics of the chamber industry. we are headed to, we've got one final hurdle to jump before we find out if we've won that award. And so yeah, we will find out very shortly whether we're going to be National Chamber of the Year.
Oh, cool.
Big honor.
Now, what type of criteria do they look at when they're picking the nation's top chamber?
Oh, everything, BJ. You have to actually be invited to apply. I mean, it's a rigorous process just to be asked to come to the table to compete. They're looking at everything from your retention rates, which is huge. That tells you if your members are happy, are they staying with you. We happen to have last year a 91% retention rate. They're looking at your finances pretty strictly. Are you running lean and mean? Are you staying lean and mean? And how does that compare to other chambers? They look at your programs. They look at virtually no stone unturned. And then you apply with a rigorous an application process where you're putting that forth. And then you finally go before a panel of industry experts, and they can ask you whatever they'd like to ask you. And from there, they determine which of the top 3 will go on to win National Chamber of the Year.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is this the first time that they won, and what are some of the other accolades that's come along with this?
You know, if we win, this would be a three-peat for us,
Wow.
which is incredibly rare. We also won National Chamber of the Year in 2000 and 2006, and if I'm not mistaken, there's only one other chamber in the nation who's ever accomplished that feat of winning 3. And you know, with being a large chamber, we are actually in a category that with Los Angeles and Las Vegas and Atlanta and bigger, larger chambers. So it says a lot about our community. It says a lot about our members, because that's really, quite frankly, who makes us National Chamber of the Year. We get our best ideas and our best input from our members. So it's a big deal for us and a big deal for our membership.
Fantastic.
Wow, one of the things that struck me, you talked about having a better than 90% retention rate on the membership, and this area is growing, lots of things happening economically. What is the size of the chamber? How many members do you have? Are you continuing to grow? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we have, believe it or not, there are 1,600 members of this chamber.
Wow.
To give you an idea, just for comparison, for example, the Minneapolis chamber doesn't have 1,600 members. I mean, It's a large chamber. We've saturated this market. I think it's a community that understands the value of that connection. They understand the value of that. And retaining members is always a great benchmark within our industry on if your chambers are happy with what they're getting and what you're doing. We're really into, and we want to know what our members want, we simply ask them, We do. We survey our members every year to find out what their hot button issues are, what do they want to know more about, and we put forth programs that meet those needs. So especially in an economic environment like we've had recently, chambers really kind of become more important than ever, because people are looking for places to connect and places to learn how to, and we do things like, how to market in a down economy, different types of seminars and things that can help them through difficult situations and help their business grow.
Do you feel like you've had more people reach out recently that may have not in the past, just due to the economy being slower and them kind of not knowing where to go?
Yeah, absolutely, because there's some ways, they still say, and our members have told us the number one reason they belong to the chamber, the top reasons are networking and exposure for my business. And there's no real better place. This is sort of where the low country business community comes together. So we do numerous, events and things like that kind of help network, and that's where so many businesses get their next client and get their next lead. It's through networking and through other businesses.
Right.
Okay. I had to find my way here today. And I called the chamber, and I heard on the voicemail they talked about a sort of a young members group for the under 40 set. What are these kinds of I guess, various groups that are sort of targeted to specific areas of your membership? Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah,
and how
absolutely.
That helps out.
The Young Professionals group is a very, very popular group that we've just launched within the last year for the under 40 set. Kind of gives them an opportunity to network and connect with one another, because that's sometimes a growing time for your career and for your business and those types of things. So it really connects that community. I think there are a lot of events in the community that maybe people aren't aware are chamber events. You know, we do those sort of basic events like business after hours, and we have one of the largest business expos in the region with over 2,000 attendees. But other fun events that are more community focused as well, like Restaurant Week Chamber Restaurant Week is something we launched 3 years ago that has become wildly popular, as you probably all know, in the month of January. That's something. And Taste of the Season is another thing where we showcase our restaurants and our chefs. State of the Region is another thing we do where we bring in, there's over 700 people join us for breakfast that morning to hear from our elected officials what their plans are, what's happening in the community, and what's going on. So it's become really popular.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of events going on.
Well, if someone isn't aware of how to contact you and get information about the chamber, where should they look?
You know, the best bet really is to go to hiltonheadchamber.org. It's so funny, in our worlds today we all communicate in so many different ways, you know, and chambers are no exception. We have written communications, we have Facebook, we have our website. We also have, you know, as well, we are the designated marketing organization for Hilton Head Island, for Bluffton. So we also have that as a division too, and HiltonHeadIsland.org is a website that visitors use. We are also the point of contact for visitors and for drawing more visitors to our island. That's a website that gets over 1 million hits a year.
Wow.
From people looking for information about the destination. So it's our job as well in terms of business to business, but it's also our mission to go out and bring visitors here, which, you know, at the end of the day, we're sort of all in the tourism business. You know, there's not an island business that doesn't rely in some way, shape, or form on tourism, whether you're an attorney, whether you're a retail shop or a restaurant.
Everybody makes more money.
Everybody,
coming here spending their money.
Yeah, exactly. It contributes over $1 billion to our, you know, to our economy every year. So it's definitely the number one driver for us in the Low Country as well as South Carolina. It's the number one source for South Carolina as well.
Wow. Well, thank you very much for joining us. That's a wealth of information.
Absolutely.
We will be right back. And thank you for joining us for 843 TV.